Hello, good afternoon, good evening. If you're still in the morning time, good morning if you're on the West Coast. Hope you're having a beautiful day. Thank you for joining me. We'll get started right away. Today, we're going to talk about, well, first, my name is Julianne Duffy, if you haven't joined me. Today, we are going to go over the energies for this month of December. We're here December 1st, 2025. Rabbit. And don't mind all the extra noise that I have. There's a little bit of a noise going on. I can get, a little bit of the background. I'm out here in Nevada. It's beautiful. I love the little mountain range. Or I think, well, it's not really mountains when you've been to Rocky Mountains, but we'll pretend. They're very pretty. Okay, so let's get started. First, I wanted to go over and announce today, if you have signed up to be a Awakened Light beta tester, the first rounds of emails have gone out to give you access to the system. So I'm super excited. And if you have not yet registered and you want to come and try this brand new system, it's not too late. You can go to my website. The link is in the description, or breathewithinyoga.com. And it just a beta tester, and it's like one of the first little links, and you apply and I will send you the link if you are interested in trying it out. Also, we are going to go over the month of December. As I mentioned, I do have available is more detailed December Divine Timing PDF available for you. So I wanted to show you kind of what it looks like and how it's laid out to see why this is something you may want to get to have. Sorry, my alarm went off, so I know that kind of freezes the volume temporarily. The December Divine Timing Guide is a supplementary guide that will go really well with 2 days conversation where we're going to go over the month of December. So this is something I would consider going and downloading. The link is in the description, or you can go to my website again and to the downloads, but I wanted to show you what it looks like a little bit so you have an idea, and then we're going to go into the month. So let's do this here. Okay, so here we go. So you'll get this download. You can see me reflecting, woo! But you get like the divine timing, and I'm going to see if I can click here. What's really great, one of my favorite things about it, so it's pretty easy to read and everything. When you get to page 3 here, we've got things to do in December and things to avoid, and then we go through the month, each week, and we even get into at the end here, closer to the end, we get into like each day and what the energy is, and then goes through some rituals and all that good stuff. So if that is something that you would be of interest to you, that is the December Divine Timing PDF, go check out my link and you can download it and you'll have immediate access so you can look at it, and then maybe rewatch this to see how they sync. Hello, Jean, am I saying that right? Or Jackie Gear, welcome. Thank you for joining me. Okay, let's get into what December has for us. So, oh, well, how do you say your name? Is it Jean? It looks like a Jean. I have no idea. I'm not even going to guess. So I apologize if I didn't say your name right. So let's get into December. We're going to look at, first off, December is this month, is we're transitioning between where we were and who we were for 2025 and who we're going to become in 2026. So as we come through this month, emotional storylines of this year of 2025 are stepping into the early architecture. So this is like the seedings we've talked about, going into 2026, which is the year we identify and fully activate our mission and purpose. So a lot of us are going to really feel that. And so we've got overall for the month, you're going to be release, stabilization, reorganization, clarity, preparation, and identity shift. So we'll feel the transition from emotional processing into grounded building into mental clarity going into 2026. So it's really that I clear the past, I stabilize my center, and I prepare for who I'm going to become. So that is where we're headed for December. That's where we're going for December. And if you haven't yet said, because it's December 1st, rabbit, good have some good karma energy to the month of December. Okay, we're gonna go over the numerology and then the astrology to kind of see where the overall energy is. So we've got the awakened light number of 7, which brings in a lot of themes for this month of inner wisdom, our spiritual reflection, intuitive clarity, reviewing 2025 and the things we've learned from it so we can make space to go into 2026. So we might feel for this month a little more insightful, a little more spiritually plugged in than we have during the rest of the year. Hello, Yasin Abraham. I have no idea what you've been talking about. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining me. Bakshar, hello, welcome. Okay. Anyways, we have the universal numerology number of 3. The universal month is 3. So it brings in the idea and theme of creativity, expansion, some new ideas, communication, and emotional processing. So it's reorganizing our mind, expression, and direction. And then their emotional tone on the numerology for December is 9, which is all about karmic releases, letting go. It's the closure at the end of the year. It seems really can't be more appropriate than that, right? We're coming to December. It's very much in the emotional tone of the closing and preparing for a new spiritual cycle. So emotional layers are going to be adding a lot of depth in December, and we're going to have a lot more seriousness in this month, especially to our own personal work. So it may feel emotionally heavy for the first 7 to 10 days of this month. So if you're feeling that way in December, that's going to be normal. Clarity does return, and we're going to have some clear emotional residue before we bring in the wisdom halfway through the month, right? So the elemental overflow for December is emotional release, which is using water and earth. So it's emotional release with stabilization. So that's what we're going to see overall. Now each week, so that's for the first week is emotional release and stabilization. For the second week of December, it's going to be earth and air. So we're going to see more structure and clarity where your life becomes more organized, mentally clear. When we get to the third week of December, breakthroughs and momentum. So there's the full moon in this week will trigger more mental activation and more truth information. And then when we get into week 4, it's coming to a fire, water elements. So our identity is shifting right to beginning into the new year, right? Where our shift is happening, we're emotionally integrating, and we're finalizing who we're not going to be coming into 2026. So it's like all those things, if you've been listening to the weeklies, we've been shedding a lot, and a lot of the things we've been learning has been about letting go of things we don't want to take into the new year. And so by the end of this month, we're really finalizing all the things that we're letting go of and who we're going to be, and that's supported through the elements on that. So some of the major forces, so this is more the astrology part of the month, and Bakshar, I'm actually doing a mixture of numerology with astrology in a system that I am developing. So it's a little bit of all these things. What I'm developing is a holistic approach to giving you information. So where does your numerology and both the Vedic and the Western astrology align? When there's overlapping themes in all of those, there's a high potential that energy is for sure going to happen. So that's really what we're looking at. Are you talking about emoji fries and emoji ice cream? So, I don't even know what's going on with the comments today, but thank you. Thank you all for joining me. Okay, and let's continue. So some of the major forces in the astrological alignments is we have Mercury retrograde going direct in December. So this miscommunications that we've been having, especially during November and the end of October, are going to start to clear up, and we're going to have more insights returning. We're going to have our Venus and Mars in Scorpio earlier in December. So that's emotional intensity and relational transformations. We're going to have that's really going to come up, right? Then we've got the Saturn influence, boundaries, structures, and commitments coming back up. And really, we've already seen in a lot of the weekly about the boundaries, right? Like about reflecting on, you know, how we're letting people, how we're letting them treat us. Like, are they worth bringing? Are we setting up boundaries, right? And then we've got Jupiter in Cancer, which is actually retrograde. So the collective, the majority of us are coming back to, especially December, which seems appropriate with the Christmas and the holiday seasons and all of that. But we're really feeling that energy towards family. Again, that stability, the stability energy, spirituality, and emotional truth. So we're really wanting that coziness for the month of December. And that's what the Jupiter in Cancer, I feel, is going to kind of bring with the retrograde. Then we got Gemini full moon, which is halfway through the month, so we get to 15th of December. This brings clarity, communication, and transparency. So that's what we're going to see as we come through with the full moon in the next month. Where if you're going to the full moon, well, I guess this is a full moon here, and then we're going to have another full moon, but one's Vedic and one's Western. So we're having another one, which is this week. And a reminder, on Thursday when it hits, the most important thing for this week is what you speak, you will create. It is a very highly manifesting energy on Thursday, so use that energy wisely. That's a side note. So some more transits that we have to highlight for December. We've got Sagittarius transitioning into Capricorn. So it's a season we're shifting from inspiration into structure. We're also seeing Venus aspects intensity of love. So that's probably that coziness, that family thing, and values. Values have come up a lot recently in the last couple of weeks as we've done overviews of the week. That is like, what is really important and what do we really value in our life, and getting rid of the things that are not of value, right? Like, is money super valuable? Well, yes and no. And how valuable is it in your life? Is your relationships valuable? And how valuable is it? You know, like putting what is actually important in your personal life. So when we combine the astrology with our emotions and the structure, so all the things we've kind of been reviewing, really with December, we're getting emotional closures, mental clearing, and structural realignment. So it's our final interior preparation. So like getting all prepared, like emotionally and unconsciously a little bit, but consciously now choosing to, for 2026 activation. It's going to be a big year. A lot of us are going to be activated. It's going to be a year with a lot of really good energy and support for those that are working through becoming better people, right? Being more aligned. This year will help you. So your mind, emotional body, boundaries, and identity will all start to shift into alignment. That is part of coming into 2026. So some of the things that you might see is things are falling away. So things that, again, don't align, like we were talking about, that those values don't match, they don't align into who you want to be. You're going to see those things start to naturally fall away. Old versions of yourself dissolving, so who you used to be not really resonating, or even seeing yourself as, oh, I can't believe I used to be this person, right? So just seeing those old things disappearing. We've got long-term clarity emerging from this December onwards. New motivation returns. We're motivated, we're the change, right? Probably also because we're going into something new with the 2026, right? Alignment is replacing emotional fog. We've kind of been lost, we've kind of been confused. We're starting to now get alignment, and we're going to start to see things in the path a little bit clearer. So, which really comes into new pathways appearing, because we're seeing them clearer, right? So it might have always been there, but now, because that fog that we've had for a lot of this year is starting to dissipate going into 2026, and especially at the end of December, we're going to see things that maybe we didn't see as possibilities, right? New paths. So it's a month where the path opens, is essentially it. It's a month of communication correction, understandings are clearing, truth surfaces, and transparency becomes essential, as well as we choose who we're going to really be. Hello, everybody that's joined. Francis and Rav and Madaran. Hello, welcome. Thank you for joining. Let me know where you're watching from. We are going over the month of December. And so, perfect. We've just got a couple more things on what to avoid and what you can kind of see for the month, and things to help you if you are interested I mentioned this at the beginning. I have put together a divine timing PDF for the month of December. It is a really, really great, simple guide that gives you for each specific day what to kind of avoid and what the energies have in store. It's got things for the month of December. It's got a whole bunch of the little details that you can easily have at your hands to reference and plan your month. So if you're interested, you can just go to the comment or the description. It's there. It's in the comments as well. Or go to my website, breathewithinyoga.com, to download, and you can do that as well. Oregon, nice, Oregon in the house. I hope it's a nice day because it's been cold. It's nicer here, but you can tell it's definitely more winter, even though I'm only 5 hours from the Mexican border. I can't really complain. I'm pretty happy. It's quite nice. Oh, Louisiana, perfect, nice. How is the weather there? I don't know how it should be nice there. Oregon's a little bit more north. You might be a little cooler, but maybe it's a better fall winter day. But let's continue. Let's look at overall the strongest energy for this month. It's the idea is really thinking of December as a spiritual wintering period. So this is where the next version of you forms. So it's kind of like that final, like if we think of it in the cocoon and the butterfly, we're in that butterfly. This month of December is just finalizing everything. So when we come into January, we can start to expand, right? Release ourselves from the chrysalis, right? Oh, it's cold. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll send you some pretend heat. It's not really that warm here. I'm outside of Las Vegas, but it's warmer than cold. There's no snow, right? Well, I'm from Earth, and I call myself a human from this place. If you want to know, my passport says Canada. That's where I was physically born on this planet. Okay, so what we want to think of in the month of December. So collectively, what we might imagine or see as we go through this month, what the world's going to really experience is people are rethinking relationships completely. And I think especially on the collective, how our relationships are with corporations especially. I think a lot of this Black Friday and stuff that's come up recently show us that we're gonna have a lot of like rethinking those type of relationships. That's very surface, and I think that's pretty apparent, but it's gonna be on all different levels. Maybe even how our relationship with communication and media, right? Because there's going to be a lot of more global corrections in communication and media. So a lot of things that I've seen, being from Canada, we get a lot of half informations, okay? So watching the news, you can call it misinformation, because if you watch CBC, they will talk about a scenario and they won't give you completely inaccurate information. So what they'll talk about will be actually technically accurate, but they'll miss out enough details that you don't really understand the situation. And I've seen this, like traveling all through North America. They had a story about a situation of people crossing the border, which was kind of true and kind of wasn't, because when you actually research it, you're like, that's misinformation, because they manipulate how you see things based on half truths. So when we come onto the global, there's going to be corrections in the communication and media on information that they're not giving correctly, right? So we'll see how that works out on that. We can also imagine on the collective emotional revelations around family and purpose. What are we doing here? It's a collective, all of us here as a whole. There's going to be some structural shifts in institutions. So we've already seen a lot of that, where a lot of these institutions, government, school, healthcare, those would be the institutions. There's going to be more shifts within them. That energy is going to continue. There's a lot on the collective, imagining a lot of heightened sensitivity. So people are still really sensitive. We've already seen that a lot. People may start. This is the month where we're probably going to see more and more people start to reconsider their spiritual beliefs. And that's not really unheard of. There was a story of, I've been following this lady who's been talking about there's been somebody doing an experiment in 2 different places, and the experiment was that they're calling churches asking for formula because they're broke and their baby is hungry. So these experiences literally go that these women are calling these churches, and none of the churches will help them. They call a mosque, and the mosque doesn't think twice, and the people help them there. So it's setting this weird precedence with a lot of these organized groups. How much good are they actually doing? And I think that's going to make people start to question. The religion itself may not be the problem, but who is the leader of that, and what are they actually representing? Are they representing the beliefs that you think match that? So I think that's going to really be part of people reconsidering their spiritual beliefs. I think that's just like a symptom of what we're probably going to see more of. Also, unexpected clarity long after confusion. So people are just going to have more aha moments as we go through December. So we've already seen a lot of that going through November. Now, on our personal lives, we might imagine as December how we're going to feel is more emotional clarity, desire to simplify. That's come up, like just getting rid of excess. And you can see that. You can see that with people showing clips of like nobody's at these Black Friday sales. No one's at Walmart, no one's at Target. And the reality is our priorities aren't there, right? We're simplifying. We don't need more stuff. And it was funny because the one dad I was listening to who went into this Black, and he's like, the only thing on sale is all this shit. My kids already have too much shit. They need to clean their shit. And that's so true, right? If you're a parent and you have a kid, they don't need any more stuff. They need experiences and lessons and like life. They don't need more stuff, right? So it is this whole thing where we are, I can see that in collective, but definitely more in our personal, more motivation to simplify, right? And there's going to be a return to motivation just to start doing things, right? Interest in truth and transparency in our personal lives is going to definitely increase. We want it. We don't want to be lied to anymore. We don't want what the hidden thing is. We want things to be transparent. We might personally going to have some insights into where 2026 is going to lead us. We're reorganizing everything. It can be everything from our routines, relationships, purposes, finances, how we spend. Any of that will come up. It's all about just kind of re-looking and reorganizing, right? Just putting an order into these things. We're going to feel spiritually cleared out because we're really going through that deep. This is that wintering, right? The chrysalis or whatever for the butterfly that's going to open. So we're clearing out the stuff we don't need. We're having lots of strong intuitive hits again and powerful boundaries. So we're setting those boundaries of what we're not going to do anymore. So this is where 2026, our identity starts to take shape. So a lot of us are probably going to feel like we're very different people in 2026 than we were prior to 2026. So important dates for December, things to keep in mind. I want to highlight, I had 3 of them. If you want to know more about some of the important dates, get my Divine Timing Guide for December 2025. You can go to my website, Breathe Within Yoga. The link is in the description, and there's downloadable PDFs. You can go get it and you'll get more. But I wanted to highlight 3 of the most important days for December here. So December 7th is an emotional truth day, so you might want to note that in your calendar. This is a full integration of this month, so December's emotional tones. So it's really a moment of clarity, and it's going to kind of be the start of all that integration that we're changing into. Then we get into December 15th, and that's the next one, and that's a Gemini full moon breakthrough. So revelations, truth-telling, exposures of misunderstanding, and mental awakening. So again, that's a big day. Note that things are going to be exposed, right? And then December 22nd. So when we get to that point, identity reset portal. So the 22nd has Saturn and Sun energies opening the pre-2026 gateway. So that's where we can release here. Really changes what 2026 is going to be. So really, like whatever we released by the time December comes, the 22nd, just letting go of that so we can establish who we're going to be in that next part of our timeline. Okay, people always do things. I wanted to go back. I saw a comment here. Where was it? Yoga isn't fit. That is true. Yoga is not physical. Yoga, there is like the 7 limbs of yoga. So you have everything from the physical movement helps, because when your body feels good, it's easier to sit, to be able to go into more clarity and be able to quiet the mind and get more peace. So that's why yoga is, and the physical anasana, which is the most known in the Western world, it's one part of a massive system that uses it's all about spiritual evolution. Yoga is the science of all religion. So you can go look that up, but that is the basis of all religion is based on yoga. And you can go, I would encourage you to go research that. And the physical movement is one part, and I've got yoga. If you were looking for yoga videos, I've got yoga videos. We've got lots of people doing the physical movement, but very few that are talking about the rest of it. And this is part of it, is really the spiritual part. The Vedic astrology is, in my opinion, totally goes into yogic and into that whole esoteric thing, right? But I look at a bunch of different things, and so if you are interested in something, I've developed, if you haven't seen yet, Awakened Light, this brand new app. What we're doing, like what I'm reading here, is I'm combining numerology with astrology, but that's the basis here. When we get to my app that I'm looking for beta testers, the first have been sent their emails for access today, so it's not too late. Again, you can go to my website if you want to be a beta tester, but we're looking at your personal charts. So it's numerology. It's also the astrology, Western and Vedic. We're adding in human design as well as the astro cartography, so like where you're located. So we're using all these different systems to give you accurate predictions and insights into your life and where the energies are headed. So this app is amazing, and those first ones, you're going to be looking for like issues on it for sure, because that's what I'm needing my beta testers for, but you're going to get free access to this for probably at least a year, and it is a fantastic system. It's super useful. So if you're interested, check it out. Get on there, and I will send you an email the next day, and you can access and start playing around with that. Oh, we got somebody from Anchorage, Alaska. Welcome. I hope it's not too cold up there. I hope it's maybe it's warmer there than it is everywhere else. But as we come through the month, so this is how to get through the month of December. So these are some of the most aligned things and aligned actions to put your energy into, or to note where, you know, especially if you're getting any of those days that feels a little out of alignment, this is the best actions for December. Clean emotional residue from 2025. So we talked about this for this week, that you might feel by the weekend, especially Saturday, that you're having these emotional breakthroughs and you might be just crying and not really even understanding some of the emotion. Allow yourself to do that. Allow yourself to be okay having an emotional breakdown. You know, it is time we okay what was never okayed, right? Because we're already being forced things that aren't normal, but how about we force things that are normal, like having emotions? And the only way to deal with an emotion properly is to let it come through you, acknowledge it, and let it leave, right? By denying the emotions, you're not helping yourself. So I feel like the first thing is clean emotional residue, is allow yourself to feel the emotions. It's that learning so they don't overcome you and you don't get stuck in an emotional state, but learning to allow the emotions to come in, allow yourself to deal with the emotions, and then let them go. That they are not attaching to a story and dragging you into a lower energy. So it's really learning those techniques. And there's lots of ways to do that. So that's part of the most aligned actions, is just find ways that you can deal with the emotions and the leftovers and this trauma from 2025. And from, I would say for sure, a lot of us, 2019, late 2019 to 2025, a lot of traumas that we're just having to let go and release so we can go into the next part of this later half of this decade in better alignment, right? Declutter mental and emotional buildup. So it's that energetic and the emotional buildup. Let yourself release it, but also mental clutter, right? So I know for myself, one of my biggest things has been like always the thoughts, what if this, what if that, what if this? It's going to be the clutter, I feel like in my mind and my intuitiveness is the clutter of talking yourself out of doing something, to not overthink things. Like if you feel that intuitive thing to do it and you're like, but you know, what about this? What about this? What about this? Don't even worry about it. Put out that intention and the steps will lead its way. So it's us learning how to declutter our mental process to stop ourselves from manifesting. Because we clutter our mind up with all these objections, issues, what ifs, and then we stop ourselves from manifesting things because we're too concerned about details of something that didn't even happen yet, right? So declutter mentally, like get your thoughts, let them go. When you want to do something and you notice those thoughts that start to worry about weird things that haven't even happened yet, acknowledge them. We talked about this yesterday for this week. Acknowledge and notice them, because then you can choose to just let them go and then put your thought into something else. But it does take practice, and that's part of December. Reorganize your life priorities. Talked about this. This keeps coming up each week. It is what actually adds value, what is a priority in your life, and what is not. That is highly and continuing to show up, and December's really gonna highlight that. So put your energy into what actually adds value in your life. Redefine your direction. That's another part of what's really aligned. Connect to your spiritual practices or reconnect. Find the practice that works for you, right? Light planning for 2026. So have an idea, start kind of putting it out. But again, we're talking about that mental clutter. So don't worry. So if you're like, I want to start a business, right? I want to make pins or something. Don't even worry about every other aspect. Oh, I need a website, or I need this or that, or whatever. Start thinking about all the things you need. You're going to talk yourself out of it. So just put it out there of what you want to do for 2026 without the clutter of the details. You don't need to worry about those. So light planning of what you want to do for 2026, keeping it simple. Rebuild your routines. We talked about that. So again, getting into a new routine in the things that feel out of balance, and emotional stability. That's really where you want to go, letting go of all that emotional trauma. So some of the some more aligned actions, the boundaries, redefining what success means for 2026. So this is interesting because I feel like that does really go back with what our values are. It's also going to be, what is success? What is success really? Is success numbers in a bank account? Is success how you feel? Is success that you've created say you have a child and they're a competent person and are able to live outside without you needing to help them? Like what is it, right? So redefining what success is for us, right? The practicing the spiritual practices, stillness, groundwork, breath work, whatever works for you. Honesty and clarity and speaking with purpose is highly aligned for December. It's going to really assist you. And like we talked about, observing those emotional triggers, right? Starting to learn those so you can start to let them go or continue to work through the process of letting them go. But there is also, what was highlighted is firm financial, emotional, and spiritual foundations. So just having a firm security within yourself. Doesn't matter if there's a negative balance on your finances, but you're secure that in where you are, right? So it's like that mental thing more than, because, you're getting this foundations, emotional and spiritual are all just connecting and feeling connected, right? Now, what to avoid for December: overstuffed schedules. Do not overdo it. Give yourself lots of breathing space. So do fun stuff, but do not overschedule yourself. Do not suppress your emotions. Don't do it. Just don't. Let yourself go through the emotional things. Let yourself move on. Don't force clarity too quickly. So if you really want answers or you're really looking for some clarity on a situation, don't get upset. Don't try to go back and keep bugging somebody for it. It's let it come. It's going to come within the divine time. So just kind of remembering that. And then avoiding decisions. So it's not that we're not making decisions. You always have to make decisions in your life, like what you're going to eat, but big, deep decisions and like super big, important contracts wouldn't be necessarily what you want to put your energy into, not for December per se. And really staying in old identity patterns. So the last thing to really watch is anytime you're kind of going back into slipping into things that you're really working towards moving away from, right? So avoid, when you notice them, choose to change those actions. And then that way it's going to be a better aligned December. But if you get pulled back in, so maybe a reaction you always do when something happens, right? And you're pulled back in, the sooner you notice that, which is really that learning the emotional triggers and then moving ourselves out of it, that is part of that evolution and the spiritual growth, right? So that is really what to avoid. So the overall guidance for this month: let the month end things naturally. We're coming to the natural end of the year. Trust clarity will arrive suddenly, so don't force it. Things will appear as they need to with those clarities. Rest more than usual. So you might be really tired. You might need to take a lot more naps. You might go to bed earlier, sleep a little bit later. Let your body do what it needs to do. Prepare for 2026 intentionally, that you are letting go of things. So you're intentionally, maybe that's what you're going to set this week, Thursday, for that manifestation. What you say you will create in your life. So maybe that is what you want to do for 2026, right? Lean into wisdom, not worry. So again, if you want to put in that idea that you're building a business, just put in that, I'm going to get guided to the steps I need in the time I need, right? So that wisdom, putting out that intention, but not the worry of all the details, right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. So December, we're releasing, rebuilding, and realigning. Everything that weighed us down for 2025 is going to be clear, is rising and clearing. So by the early 2026, we've released it and let it go. We're going to enter 2026 lighter, clearer, and more aligned than the entire year of 2025. So I'm excited to do the guide and the information for the year of 2026. So that will come a little bit later in the month, and I will make a there'll be a PDF with a bunch of the stuff for the month of January, and we'll go into the entire year of 2026 and what that year looks like. So that'll be really interesting. So stay tuned for that. So again, if you have registered to be a Awaken Light beta tester, thank you so much. I have sent out the first round of emails with access to the system, and it is not too late to join. So if you are interested, so if you like this type of stuff with the numerology, the astrology, and really want it guided and personalized to you, I recommend you try out and become a beta tester. You're going to get free access to the entire system to play around with it, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun. I thoroughly enjoy building this system. So go to my website, breathewithinyoga.com. The first little tab there is Awaken Light, and it's to become a beta tester. Once you apply, I will send you an email now that it's up and running, and you will get access so you can start trying it out. And if you would like more information for the month of December, do consider going and getting the December Divine Timing PDF, which goes into all the details. You're going to get a preview, so you don't have to wait to each of my weeks. So you'll get a preview of each week and what to do, what not to do, and what each day has in store for you through the month of December. That is also at my website, breathewithinyoga.com, and it is on downloadable PDFs. You go to it and you can download and instant access that you can print or read or whatever you would like to do. So other than that, I'm just going to check and see if there's anything. Hello, Fubanji. Very nice. Thank you for the flowers. Cooked. 10 out of 10 wood. Perfect. And Murat, you have a question? If I'm still here, you're welcome to ask me a question. Hello, Mile High. Well, that's all I'll say. I don't watch a lot of Indian movies. I don't actually watch a lot of television or movies, really. I make an effort to, especially during the fall and winter, that we're making an effort to have a movie night or like a holiday show with my daughter or my husband, and we watch it in the evening. But we're watching right now a cooking show, holiday cooking, because that's what we want to do. And then that makes you want to eat, because that's the problem. Psychologically, I thoroughly enjoy watching people bake and make these things, and they sound delicious, but I'm still not really motivated to make them, but I want to eat them. So then you're eating other things that you shouldn't be eating because they make you hungry, right? So it's bad. So make sure you don't watch them when you're hungry, right? So, oh, Spartan. The people are funny. It's interesting. So on that note, December sounds like it's going to be it's going to be a great month. Things are lightening as long as you're doing the work. Keep your focus on becoming that person of who you want to be. It's never too late. Literally, every day you wake up is the next day to change. So December is a wonderful day, or not wonderful day, wonderful month to take the initiative and start, really narrow down your values. What is important in your life? What's not? Get rid of the excess baggage. Get rid of the things you don't want to bring with you for 2026, and set the intentions, especially Thursday, of what you want to bring and what you want to manifest. And then work on becoming more and more aware of what you're saying to yourselves and the emotions and how they show up in your body and in your mind. Because until you start to recognize them, there's no progress we can do. There's not, until you know and notice thoughts, notice the conversations, you can't actually do much. So the more you notice, and the more then you can choose what you want to do. So if you're seeing those thoughts that make you stressed or fearful, or the mental, we want mental clarity, right? So if you're just having all these conversations about what if, and it's really noisy, this is the month to start to work on those. And there's lots of tools available, so check them out. I do have meditations here on breathewithinyoga.com. I do have some yoga stuff. These are all, oh, I got some really great stuff built into that Awaken Light app, which does include breath work, meditation intention, and yoga based on your charts for each day as well, and timing. So again, if you are interested, go and apply to be my beta tester so you can get access to that today and you can start playing around with that. I'm saying it's exciting because the things I talk about, I'm putting them all in here. I'm doing everything I've been interested in like my 20 years of being an adult, 20 some years, is going in this app. So do join me. Am I a hippie? I don't know. I'm a human. Are you a hippie, Adam? I don't know. I appreciate certain things of most things, but well, I sound like a Karen. I sound like a Karen by spiritually empowering you to go and fix yourself. Well, I feel like that's the wrong definition of a Karen, but to each their own. You're welcome to have your opinion. And as I've said, if you watch me, this almost comes up on every live. Opinions are like buttholes, and no one wants to see them nor hear them. So how about you keep it to yourself? And on that, yeah, busy, slim, hi. Keep your butthole to yourself. On that note, I hope you have a beautiful day while you cover your own butthole and go. Tester, come and see, check out. It's a lot of fun. I like this app. It's going to continue to grow, and we'll work on that. So now I'm just gonna be known as Karen. Oh my god, this is why people. I get it. I get why it can be going live, putting yourself out there can be a thing, because you know what, you get everything, everybody's buttholes, right? And then you gotta decide, nope, whatever, goodbye. Well, my butthole today is good. How's yours, Busy Slim? On that, I've gone bad. It's gone bad. Enjoy December. Stay focused. I'll be back next Sunday to do the second week of December. So we'll look at what's in store, give you more details on that. If you want a preview, check out the Divine Timing Guide at my website. And if you want more specialized information for yourself, become a beta tester for my Awaken Light app. But check those out, go to my website, and I will see you all on Sunday. Have a beautiful week.